Hello everyone, Editor Bucky here for a change, and welcome back to Aska and welcome back to the Nine Realms. So Bucky is a little distracted right now because naturally the second he started the episode the game dumped another blanket of fog on him, ruining the natural intro. So while past me flails around in the fog looking for the corpse of Jarl Baneman, let me use my fan-bloody-tastic graphic skills to lay out the plans for today's episode. Yes, plans, plural. So Bucky got a little carried away. So with the mining outpost Nithapeklik now up and running and churning out iron, we need to start shipping that iron over to New Asgard by way of market routes. However, there are still 2 active Draugr fields in the way, so clearing those up for good is going to take priority. Build-wise, Nithapeklik will be needing a cottage before winter, as well as a workshop to keep our workers supplied, and then some form of defense or deterrence because we have a whole gang of smokers that are just loitering nearby. Then back home in New Asgard, we will be kicking off our iron industry, and speaking of, I got something really cool to share on that. And it's day 19, so we're probably going to get a visitor tonight. Guess that animal! Those who know. Anyway, that's all. Let's get going. Oh my goodness, that took ages to harvest up with the stone pickaxe. Is it me, or are the things he dropped super large? Look at the size of the iron. Look at the size of that large stone. That is certainly a bit bigger than usual. But here we are. This is what we came for, the fire artifact. And with that, we can now make the fire runestone. Oh, look, he actually dropped the sword. Is it a one or a two-hander? It is a one-handed sword, so technically we're allowed to use it because this is a one-handed sword playthrough. It is a bronze one, so it's better than the wooden one. It's better than the wooden spiked one, but not obviously as good as an iron sword. But I will take it. I'll take it not only to use, but I'll take it as a sign of good things and luck to come. What a fun way to start the episode. Let's take all this stuff back home. The fog finally cleared, but I'm just going to have to throw together an intro in post. I am wasting far too much time right now. Although I am getting distracted right now. All of the flax has respawned, which is super helpful. I'm going to need that in absolute spades today. We got so many builds to get through. We have to get through a cottage. We have to get through a hunter's hut workshop. So every little bit of flax, honestly, is going to be super helpful today. So back home, you can see during the failed foggy intro, I started putting together a warehouse extension, and it's almost done actually. It just needs one more stone. I don't see my builder anywhere. Maybe they've gone on a break. Maybe they've gone to get the stone. I'm going to go and just break down a couple of rocks that are nearby, just so we have those large stones lying on the floor. And I need the small ones anyway for something I'm planning a little bit later. Oh, there he is. He found one. And so this is going to be, we're going to be doing a market route from both warehouses, the one by the cooking hut and this one. For this one in particular is going to be receiving and shipping out goods. What we'll be shipping out for now, at the moment only, will be clothes. The need for flax never ends. You know, I'm really kicking myself right now because I always do a farm by day 3 or 4. I was so late this series. Now we've only had one flax harvest. So now for the first time since like when I first started, I'm actually low on flax all the time, and that's why I'm gathering it a lot all the time. It's going to be my little bottleneck, at least until we get another harvest, which is fine. It's fine. It adds to the challenge. Next storage I want, not that we'll be shipping this over to the outpost, but I do want to have a ready and handy supply of firewood. That's going to be super helpful for when we get our iron industry up and running. Now, I wouldn't usually put the firewood storage in with the coal storage, but that's something I'll touch on a bit later, maybe in another episode, when we're being a bit more min-maxy. But for now, it's fine. It's going to be in one place, and that is what is important for speed and efficiency. And we are a little bit out of sticks. Oh, fun fact, by the way, you can actually grow sticks if you want, but only in the level 2 farm, which makes absolutely no sense, because I kind of need sticks now. I am in that sort of early game stick lull, because I'm building a lot of cottages, I'm building a lot of storages, and they do take an enormous amount of sticks, but having the sticks in the tier 2 farm makes no sense to me. By the time you have a tier 2 farm, you don't need sticks, but whatever. What's the range like on this? Oh no, it doesn't even matter. We got a bunch of flags. Yeah, I don't know. We're in a stick lull. It is what it is. But Hjalmar is here now. He has the coveted retired bowman perk, giving him 3 stars range proficiency. So we're going to throw him onto the archery range straight away so he can power level his way through. And don't forget to give him a house this time. Look at me! I'm actually remembering to put a roof over my villagers' heads for now. There's our clothes storage also being built. Hard at work today, my builders. It's looking good. All right, let's do what we can to keep summoning. So who have we got? Bear Power and Shrimpy Woodsman. And then here, Ragnar, our counterpart, has Mighty Vigor. Sure, let's go with Ragnar. Getting some more melee warriors wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. We are on max difficulty after all. Okay, since I still can't leave the village, we are still waiting for our visitor. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the fire runestone. That is going to be super helpful for when we get our iron industry up and running. I can't wait to show you how powerful this runestone can be if used properly. That looks good. Again, I do move a lot of my structures around at some point when I do the beautification episodes, but right now I just want it near the houses for the housing bonus. I'll also just leave this very priceless ancient fire artifact on the floor here for when my builders get to the third stage of the runestone build and they can just pop it in and finish things up. Nothing bad ever happened from leaving a priceless ancient artifact on the floor, did it? Okay, next up, I want to build a workshop hut, so the tier 2 version. This is where we'll attach the metalworker and the carpenter, so basically it'll be our iron tool and weapon production hub for now. I love the idea of it facing right down the barrel of that warehouse, though. That is going to look pretty neat if you ask me, which no one did, because I'm home alone and talking to myself. That should be up in no time. What is the time? Speaking of time, it is 8 o'clock. We'll be getting our visitor pretty soon. I mean, I sent out the invite a couple of days ago, but I guess they're running late. Maybe there's traffic. You know, I don't know what to do. I'm at a weird waiting stage. I can't really go to the outpost and do anything up there. I gotta stay nearby. I know what we can do. So while my builders get started on the workshop, let's put down the coal maker. We will need that next, and it will open up the bloomery, allowing us to further move towards the iron production. Now, I wanted to go sort of over here behind the metalworker. We do have a lot of tree stumps in the way, so let's break down some of those, clear out some room. Now, I am aware I'm kind of overloading my very limited number of builders here in New Asgard, but I don't really care so much because we are heading to the outpost probably tomorrow, and having some sort of to-do list for them to churn away at over here would just mean I wouldn't have to make so many back and forth trips. So that's the idea, at least. We'll see how it plays out. I'm kind of doing that thing, I forget what the meme is from, but it's that guy who's just standing in various locations, like at his pool, on a swing. He's just waiting, he's bored, he's got nothing to do. That's kind of what I am doing right now. I'm just going around collecting a few garlics or onions just so I can bring my health up, and any flax that I can find. Just twiddling my thumb, waiting for the alarm. Well, we have a little bit of excitement here. We got some whites coming to say hi. Hello. Good night. And there it is, the alarm. The bear has come to visit us at last. Let's blow on the smoker horn of Gondor, rally our militia, and then head out to meet our furry nemesis. Wait, why aren't they following me? Oh my gosh, they're fighting another white. Why does the game do this to me? We have a bear, guys. Chop, chop. I said chop, bloody chop. Oi, stop blowing holes in my bloody farm. I just punched a bear in the ass. Get your sword out. All right, let's put Jarl Bayman's sword to the test. It's just a regular bronze sword. Don't worry, it's not some special secret thing. A lot more than just the militia have come out. We got our hunter nearby peppering arrows into the bear. We got some villagers. I think they might be the ones with steadfast resolve. And we have a couple with steadfast resolve. That perk comes in handy, no lies about that. I just got bit in both kneecaps, also hurts, no lies about that either. And the bear's laying down to take a little nap. Fantastic. Okay, with the threat of the bear attack out the way, we can focus on other things now. My builders here have plenty to do. We have 2 buildings and I think 1 or 2 storages as well. So they're going to be busy for a while with those. What I want to do now is I want to head over into the Draugr fields. I want to finish clearing them out. We killed the boss in one, but there's still some mobs walking around. So that Draugr field is still active and will be spawning Draugr. And for the second Draugr field, we just have to do a full clear, boss included, in order to deactivate that one for the next year. And then once those are gone, our trade network will be super safe and secure. Wait, I forgot. I was supposed to say it like this. Safe and secure. Oh, that was a good dodge. Hey, get down, you little hacker. Is that everyone? Let's take a look. It is. Okay, so this Draugr field, boss cleared, mobs cleared, deactivated for the next calendar year. So let's rinse and repeat that with the second one. I might need a bit of backup for the Bayman though. Okay, that took most of the night and most of the morning, to be honest. But both Draugr fields are now inactive. Nothing will spawn here for a full year, and that is going to be absolutely essential for our market workers. They will now be able to move freely back and forth without incident. Yoink! Double yoink. Okay, time to check on Nithafechlich. I'm getting good at saying it. Proud of myself. Okay, so here at the outpost, things are ticking away quite nicely. We have a couple of builds. We got the cottage over there being built, ready for winter, and the hunter's hut over here still not built. Not sure what the holdup is, but that's fine. We're here now. It might just be my woodcutter can't keep up with the demand, but since I'm here, I can help out. But I do want to add some more things to the build queue. First of all, the clothes storage, since we have one in New Asgard, we'll need one here so that we can start bringing clothes in. I also need a tool weapon rack for bows, and an arrow storage as well. Those will be for our hunter and probably watchtower too, because we will need to get rid of the anxiety debuff eventually. Okay, so that is everything we'll be shipping in and out for now. So we have the iron storage there to my right, that's shipping out. We have clothes shipping in along with bows and arrows. We are making food here ourselves. We have a cook hut making, I think, just mushroom soup for now, since we have so many bloody mushrooms, but we will have that hunter's hut up eventually and we'll transition in to meat soups. Now, one thing I'm seeing is we do have a flax shortage out here. The cottage right now needs 15 rope. The hunter's hut needs a lot of rope too, and we do need to finish building the workshop and setting up the production of those heavy stone tools, and they also take a lot of rope. So at some point I'm probably going to build a farm out here and just have it to flax, maybe a little bit of vegetables as well, since we can't rely on mushrooms forever. But that is a later problem, and today's problem, besides wolves apparently, is flax, and the solution for that is just running around and harvesting. I am still so happy to see smokers and Fenmar in my game world, because again, in my last series, Gates of Helheim, the herbivores were turned off somehow, so I didn't see any of these happy little bastards running around. Really nice. Can't wait to start hunting you. Not bad. Not a bad flax harvest. Could be more, could be less. Not bad though. We have enough for the cottage, or this stage of the cottage, so now it just takes one long stick. We'll let the builders handle that. And I will focus on the storages, as they are the next most important thing. Excuse me? Ugh. That's one way to get past someone. Alright, they just need some sticks and long sticks. What about you? Rope and logs. Okay, I can bang out the logs in no time. So, we are done. It took all night, but my builder friend and I are done. We finished the cottage, the hunter's hut, the workshop, and most importantly, the last few storages we need in order to set up all of our market routes. I am going to leave one final build for him just to keep him busy, but he can do it at his own leisure, and that is the tower extension to the outpost. That will help with the anxiety debuff out here when we assign someone to it. But for us, for now, I am finally going to set up these market routes. So let's come into the map, find our market and open it up. Still one of the best changes ever, by the way. Okay, so who are we going to put in charge of the market route? Ragnar? Sure, Ragnar will be fine. Now, route number 1, our priority route, we will be going from Nithafechlich and to our blacksmithing warehouse back in New Asgard. We are going to assign Ragnar, obviously, and sled-wise, sled number 1, I think that's my personal one. You can just have sled 2, not a problem. And he will be delivering, let's scroll down here, he will be delivering a full sled of iron ore. Those metal scraps are actually mine from Mr. Baneman. I should remember to take those back with me, but I probably won't. And there it is. Route 1 is created. Now, Route 2, we are going to go from the blacksmithing warehouse to Nithafechlich. And we will be bringing in our clothing. Now, I can't actually see which ones I got in stock because we have none in stock. But I remember that we're doing flimsy shirts and flimsy pants. But as long as we get at least some shirts out here, that will help with the incoming winter. And then lastly, we want a route from that warehouse we stuck right next to the cooking hut. We want to bring in the bow and arrows from there. So there's the arrows. We'll bring in probably, you know, just 40, I guess. That's fine. I think they're just going to overload it anyway. And then I want to bring in some bows, which I don't see because I forgot to build the bloody storage. Well, I knew I had done something wrong. I had the creeping suspicion at the back of my mind. Something whispering, Bucky, you've forgotten to do something. But not to worry, we can just head back, build the storage, add it to the route afterwards. That is not going to be a problem. You can always modify these routes however you wish, whenever you wish. That is the beauty of being in charge. So here at the workshop, we need to assign somebody. It doesn't need to be anyone particularly skilled. I don't want to use Arce. She's going to be a new Asgard crafter. The crafter out here is literally just going to be making things like the heavy stone pickaxe, the heavy stone axe, maybe some clothing if we ever get a flax farm up here. But for now, just the basic tools to keep the mine and the woodcutter working. And also a stone knife actually for the hunter so that they can start bringing in the red meat. So Agnar fits the bill quite nicely. Now, he is actually a citizen of New Asgard, so we do have to assign him to the outpost. And we do that simply by assigning him a bed in our new cottage. And real quick, you can have somebody live in one outpost and work in another outpost if you want to. I don't want to have them doing a whole lot of back and forth. So yes, that's why we're moving him here. And now he is part of this outpost. He lives out here. He works out here. Task-wise, I'm thinking about 10 rope is fine. That'll just help with any repairs for buildings that we might need. And then for the rest of the task, yes, as I said just now, we want a large stone pickaxe for the mine, a large stone axe for the woodcutter. We also need a couple of torches for the mine, otherwise you won't be able to bloody see what he's doing. And a stone knife for the hunter so that when they're hunting the smokers and the deer nearby, they can bring back the red meat. We will replace that with an iron knife eventually so that they can get the leather. But for now, a regular knife is fine. I just care about the meat. And that should be it. I do regret choosing 5 simple torches. That uses a heck of a lot of rope. Holy moly. Let's just bump that back down to 2 and that should be fine. Even that is a lot of rope, to be honest. Then over here at the hunter's hut, I know we have somebody working in the archery range. I forgot their name. Hjalmar, yep. Oh, wow. 33 skill already. Yeah, he is going to be a fantastic hunter. So once again, we're going to assign him one of our new cottage beds so that he lives out here, meaning he doesn't have to commute so far. It's still called commuting, right? There is our market worker, by the way, already coming by. We're looking for a delivery. He's not gonna find one because we need to assign someone to the mine. We have a stone cutter. We're just going to transfer them to the mine. Same skill, same tools, easy peasy. Right, that is all we need to do here at Nithafechlich. So let's head on back over to New Asgard and put together the other buildings we need in order to kick off our very own Iron Industrial Revolution. But first, another villager, obviously, because it's been a few days. So everything here got built. The workshop's there. The coal maker is behind. So now we have access to the bloomery, which itself is going to unlock the metal worker. Oh, it finally happened quite late today. Actually, a blood moon. Too bad it didn't happen tomorrow. We would have had an iron weapon by tomorrow. Oh well, not to worry. Let's go meet them. is the once per episode obligatory gorgeous shot. Absolutely lovely. Absolutely gonna take Vigdis the crafter. Amazing. Ta-da! Alright, there is our metal worker. I'm gonna get to work straight away on the carpenter. We won't need it straight away. That's probably gonna look a little bit wonky, but never mind. As for the iron tools, we're going to go ahead and start with the crude iron axe and possibly the iron knife. But yeah, it's time to start smelting, but beforehand, I didn't do this ahead of time because I am an absolute muppet. I need to make some coal, and that's why I made these firewood storages, just so that our warehouse worker is making a nice big pile. It'll make it a lot easier for us. These will hold more than the woodcutter, and then we can just grab them here, run ourselves over to the coal maker just across the way, and get things going without the need to actually assign someone here. Not right now, not when our population is low and every villager matters. Alright, so while the coal cooks, in a sense, let's go see how much iron has been brought in from Nithavetlich. Oh, would you look at that? It works. The trade route is working. We have one full delivery, which is actually kind of round about the time that I said there would be, you know, because he had to start the mine from scratch. So he's already mined 15. He's making good work over there. Alright, just to kill a bit more time, I want to prepare for the eventual breaking of all the tools we're about to start making. So I need to put down the thing that I can never bloody find in this menu. Yeah, here, the broken metal part storage. This is going to be kind of important in the outpost as well, because if a tool breaks out in an outpost, we're going to have to find a way to get the metal part back here to refurbish a new weapon or tool and then get that back out to the outpost. Or we can just build a metal worker out there and have them recraft it and just ship wood. I don't know, I haven't really decided. The whole logistics part of tool breaking and replacement does sound like a bit of a headache right now. As evidenced by the fact that I have completely forgotten what I was in the middle of doing. I'm just running around. What the heck was I going to do? Never mind. I've completely lost my train of thought. So I'm going to go chop down a tree and finish that lamp. Also, Vigdis is here, a nice handy crafter with, actually, wow, she has all of my favorite traits. She's got the crafting trait, the bear power trait. She even has the steadfast resolve trait. Vigdis is the MVP of all villagers right now. Holy heck. Okay, this should stop the smokers poking around my hunter's hut looking for their, looking for what's left of their friends, I imagine. As for tasks, there's a couple of ways to do this, and I'm not really sure what the actual best way is, if there even is a best way. But what I've been doing lately is just putting in a request for metal parts and then leaving things to run for a day or so. I find this a little better than asking for tools or weapons straight up, because once the quota of parts has been met, we can just switch over to tools and immediately tell the blacksmith to use refurbished parts only. I just find that a little easier to keep track of. Your mileage may vary. Let me know how you handle things in the comments though. I'd be interested to find out. Alright, the coal is done, which means we can start making some iron. Let's just go dump all this over here. I'm keeping all of these stones in my bag for a reason, don't worry. Hey, did that warehouse worker just steal my coal? He did, the bastard! Oh, I thought they coded against that happening. That's so stupid. Temporary fix, I've just turned everyone's access off via the whitelist, and then once we get a couple of villagers working here, we can fiddle some more with the whitelisting of the iron industry. But we will need another warehouse for that. In fact, we'll probably need a couple more, you know, for the most efficient layout. But we'll cover that probably in the next episode. For now, all access is off, as I am the only one that will be using it, and I don't want that worker stealing my bloody coal. Okay, so to start, I'll be using 16 coal and 4 iron because I can't do 5 out the gate. Some people can. I'm not one of those people. 16-4, that's the ratio I like to start with. And now for the bit I think you'll like if you don't already know. I want to assign someone to the fire runestone and then sit down on the mat here to receive the fire runestone buff, but not the regular buff, not the buff that everyone gets. I'm going to get the timed version of the buff. I think it has the word power in the tooltip, like the fire runestone power. And then we can unassign the villager from the runestone just so that we can get them back working as a builder. And then we, unlike our villagers, will retain the buff because we sat down. And again, we got that timed power version. So there is the regular version that everyone just got. You saw them all say the same thing over their heads. I hope they get rid of that at some point, or at least make it an option. And here is our personal version, the timed version. And then if we come into our character page, we can see now we have 3-star blacksmithing proficiency. This is going to be fantastic. Okay, so remember, we're starting off at level 0. This is our first time using the furnace. And now let's see how fast we can level up with our new found fire runestone magic. In one go, using 4 metal ore and 16 coal, we went from skill level 0 to 19. That is incredible. And that, when we assign them here, will also apply to our villagers. That is going to be fan-bloody-tastic. Okay, so there is our crude iron axe. I also got a iron knife just to give to a hunter so we can start bringing in better leather. That will be needed for the heavy linen armor. And then a short ways down the line, the heavy leather gambeson, which is just the absolute goat of armor currently in the game. So now we have our crude iron axe, we can start harvesting the local birch trees. Now, I know this series is a outpost series and we will eventually have an outpost dedicated to birch farming. But because you do need birch to get your iron industry up and running, it's used in a lot of tools and weapons. I can't really go and build a birch outpost right now. That is something we'll have to do sort of like when our local supply runs out. But don't worry, I do have a plan for our next outpost in the next episode to get started on in the springtime. Yeah, but for now, I'm just going to harvest the local birch here so we can finish off building the carpenter and then finally get some iron weapons on the go. Alright, this should be enough for my builders to finish the carpenter. Let's just grab one to help out, and then I'm going to smelt a whole bunch more bloom so that I have enough on hand to make those fancy tools and weapons as soon as we can. Alright, I've gotten quite a bit of blacksmithing skill, so I'm going to try and smelt 5 iron ores right now. Oh, I did it! And also, the weather changed completely. We have a blizzard. This is exciting! The carpenter is built, so I can take one of these long sticks, these hardwood long sticks, and I can make myself a couple of shafts. Actually, I think I need 3 in total. But once I have those hardwood shafts in hand, I can make myself an iron battle axe, one-handed. Remember, we're doing a one-handed playthrough, and I can also make myself a small iron pickaxe, which is going to make farming Jotun blood so much faster, and our population now has the potential to completely explode. Also, real quick, if you're wondering why you can't make the two-handed versions of these tools and weapons, they changed things in the last update. There are now 2 tiers of metalworker. The tier 1 that we have now can only make one-handed tools and weapons, whereas the tier 2 version is where you get your two-handed variants of those tools and weapons. So just keep an eye out for that. If you're confused as to why, that's why. Recent update. I am freezing to death. I'm just blabbering along here making my iron axe. It's just slowly freezing to death. Pay attention, Bucky. But yeah, anyway, if you want two-handed versions of your tools and weapons, you need the tier 2 version of the metalworker. I'm okay with that change. I like having a reason to progress. I like having multiple tiers of each of the buildings. It just makes the village look a bit nicer when you upgrade to sort of like the nicer looking models. But yeah, okay, I really got to start having my little random tangent conversations with myself, either wearing clothes, like I am now, or next to a fireplace. It's winter now and there's a blizzard outside, Bucky. Pay attention. Don't go off on one of your little tangents and then just turn into an icicle. But speaking of not turning into an icicle, I should start putting a couple of campfires around town to keep everyone warm, and I'm also going to complete my set of cloth armor. It doesn't offer any damage protection, but it does help against the cold. You know what? I never do this. I always skip it, but I want the feel of progression this time. And last thing, I'm going to grab all these small stones, and then we are done. So that is all for today. Now, what was I talking about regarding all those small stones? Well, I was going to build a road between New Asgard and Nithafeklik, but you know what? I thought it would be fun to ask you guys which route you think I should take. Our options are going to be up past the large spire and then over the Drauga field, down through the village, past the farm, and then up through the Drauga field, or literally as the bird flies and right through the forest. So let me know which route you think is best, and that is the one we will build in the next episode, because I am going to be leaving this episode here, and holy moly, I do not envy Editor Bucky's job of having to stitch all this together. We got so much done. Thank you all so much for watching. Shout out and huge thank you to Perhakon and Memento Mori, who have both become channel members, joining as pages, Amy, our second Amy, who has joined as a squire, and also to Nishi and to Jarl Crispy, great name, both of who have become channel members, joining as fully fledged knights. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you all again so much for watching. If you haven't already, then please consider grabbing a sub, dropping a like, or leaving a comment. You can also hop right into another one of my adventures, or check out one of my guides on screen now, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheerio.